it's unfortunate I have to formulate it like this, but I do think it is like this. The best way to survive is to just comply. And if you have something to say, you say it. Let's say if they take you to jail, you say it in jail. Or you comply, let them detain you, let them figure out things out, and maybe they will decide to let you go either way. But if you fight, you make matters worse.
Because he's trying to run.
Yeah.
And two things, guys. First of all, one philosopher, someone I know, once told me, if you're running from the police, you might be writing your own deletion sentence.
Yeah.
There's only two outcomes. Well, actually, three. Actually, three. I said two because one of them is what we
That's the
saw.
same. One of them has the same outcome, I think.
Well, they are close to each other.
Yeah.
So if you run from the police, either you get away or they catch you and you catch your heart beating. Not saying that it's justified. It's just how
It just
your
happened.
it's just the adrenaline that's going through their mind, the power, that power that's there, and that they're like, why you make me run?
Yeah.
And the third one is what happened with Tyree, where they catch you and they beat you over, beat you, and then you end up doing a dirt nap.
Yeah. Or they can do it in other ways as well. They can just let it loose.
Oh yeah, but yeah, that's another way.
That's
Yeah,
another one. Well, the
because
same
you're
outcome.
running, you have your back to them.
Yeah.
So I've learned quite early in my life. I'll call that person a philosopher. You know who it is, RJ.
I know it is.
That person told me, "You run." Well, that person. Well, that happened. The person said it when it happened to someone else. They showed the video on the TV, and the person said, I mean, might sound harsh, but you shouldn't run. Don't run because you open that window.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
that happened to Tyree.
Yeah. As you know, KR, I haven't worked as a criminal lawyer for years now.
Hmm.
I have done so in the past, just for 2 years, just to get the experience. But what I can say is that during that time, you get to meet a lot of police officers, from street cops to detectives
Hmm.
and higher ups. And what I can say is that especially the street cops, they have a lot of what I'm going to say right now doesn't justify anything that happened, but it's just stating a fact. Oftentimes they have very they're under a lot of stress. Their routine is non-existent because they work shifts. Oftentimes they need to work double shifts because there are not a lot of people there. Within their own organization, there are a lot of politics being played, a lot of power plays, and you need to, let's say, behave unless you want for them to, place you in a department where you don't want to be placed or something like that.
Hmm.
So a lot of times you're under a lot of stress. That's in general. Aside from that, there are people. Oftentimes their family lives are ruined due to their job because they're almost never at home, or they work around the clock. Oftentimes they have kids but aren't with their wife, or they're with their wives, but But just to say it's not a. It's oftentimes they don't have a ideal home base.
It wouldn't be the life you would want.
No, but that's why I say and that so that's you have that and remember as well when they wake up, maybe may they have to deal. You have to just imagine. Sometimes they need to deal with a lot of things, especially the street cops. A lot of things throughout the day, both in their personal lives as well as in their professional lives, from their own colleagues sometimes or people they encounter while they're doing their job. So that's why I never had a philosopher to tell me what you learned, but I did see it due to my experience as the short stint I did as I worked amongst other things as a criminal lawyer. I don't do criminal law anymore. Just comply because the street cops have very simple jobs. They need to solve simple problems, so small conflicts. If necessary, they can either give you a fine or send you to jail. When you get to jail, that's when you speak to higher ups who have time to look at the situation more calmly, more in depth. In depth. The street cop, the street cop's job is not to talk to you and to reason with you. That's not his job at all. He needs to finish his job with you to move on. So considering all of that, your best way, and it's unfortunate I have to formulate it like this, but I do think it is like this. The best way to survive is to just comply. And if you have something to say, you say it. Let's say if they take you to jail, you say it in jail. Or you comply, let them detain you, let them figure out things out, and maybe they will decide to let you go either way. But if you fight, you make matters worse. And like I said, you never know what's going through that person's head or those people's head on that particular point in time.
Adrenaline, all that stuff.
Yeah.
One thing, and we've talked about this in the past as well, RJ. I always say that it's always remarkable that the people with less encounter that less encounter the cops, or you call it street cop, throw cops. They are always the ones that fall victim in majority of the times to these situations.